All right, hey everyone, here we go. Japanese mid-size truck shootout. We got the Tacoma we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the Nissan Frontier that we have right here. We're going to be looking at the Honda Ridgeline. We're going to dive into all three of these. These are our three Japanese versions available in the USA of mid-size trucks, and they all have some unique things. We're going to dive into them, break them down for as far as what's best at what does what well, and we're going to look at them. So starting us off, we're going to look first at Toyota, and then we have a chart on here. We have a whole spreadsheet that's going to break things down for you, help you figure out which one's best for you, all the specs, some what does best in what category. We're going to look at it. But first off, we take the 2024 Tacoma, new this year, came out, and comes with basically three different versions of a motor. But for the most part, you got the the standard one, i4 turbo. We'll cover all that. But let's look at our trim level options here. Okay, we got the SR. Okay, and you can see their prices here. But we got an SR, an SR5, a TRD Pre-Runner, TRD Sport, TRD Off-Road, a Limited, a TRD Sport iForce Max Hybrid, a TRD Off-Road iForce Max Hybrid, Limited iForce Max Hybrid, Trail Hunter, and TRD Pro. You can see these prices on here. Keep in mind that anything below the TRD Off-Road is available in two-wheel drive, but TRD Off-Road is not. Any of these ones are not. So their base price is going to, like the base price on an SR5 will be a two-wheel drive. Same with the SR. So you take that into consideration on here, but you can see they offer a trim for everybody. Okay, Toyota does. The trim I think is the most value for this is going to be these two right here. If you're on road, the TRD Sport's going to offer this nicely tuned road suspension. Going to be a great setup for you. Fun truck, sporty, a great on-road kind of a truck right there. If you're an off-roader, and this will still come in four-wheel, you can get this in four-wheel drive and still enjoy it on a four-wheel drive aspect off-road. Still very capable. The TRD Off-Road is almost a twin of this, but geared more for off-road. Is going to give you the MTS, the crawl control, the rear locker, all the off-road bells and whistles you want. Basically, almost the same thing as a TRD, a Trail Hunter or TRD Pro, minus a few things that you don't need. So, like I said, those are the two trims here that are most interesting here. We step over to the Nissan. The Frontier, like I said, amazing, naturally aspirated V6. For 2025, there's some subtle changes that are happening. This goes up 500 pounds. They're adding tilt and telescoping wheel and a little bit of front. Here's the front change, a little bit of fascia change on a 2025, and they're offering more long bed configurations. Beautiful truck, but what do we got here? Okay, so you got basically the S model, the SV, and you got the S, the SV, and you have the Pro 4X is basically your main ones. You also got the SL in here too, but you got the SV in different configurations, the S in different configurations, and the Pro 4X, which in 2025, this will also be available in a long bed. But those are your basically features. Now, if you're looking for more of an on-road vehicle that's still going to do a lot of fantastic things off-road for you too, the SV is a fantastic option. If you are looking for the most aggressive off-road stuff that you can get out of the, and when we switch this to four-wheel drive, you can see the prices here change a little bit. But what the four-wheel drive version, come on, give me a bar. The Pro 4X is going to be your best bet because you're going to gain that rear locker in there. So it's kind of nice. So here's your ones here. And then when we get into the Ridgeline, okay, the Ridgeline, great truck. Got a lot of features in here. Well, you're going to be pretty shocked when you watch this comparison between these three trucks and see what actually happens here. It's going to be pretty shocking. It was for me as I made the list. It was pretty shocking. But the Ridgeline, here you go right here. Now we got a couple of different trim levels of this thing too. Again, it's another naturally aspirated V6. This is, every one of them are all-wheel drive. They are an all-wheel drive system. Not a true, part-time transfer case four-wheel drive system, but they are with low range, but they are an all-time all-wheel drive system in here. Beautiful for what 99% of people want to do. Trim level-wise, we got a Sport. Remember, all these are all-wheel drive. We got a Sport, the RTL, which is more of your luxury kind of road version, the Blackout Edition, and we got a Trail Sport, which is considered their off-road edition. So you can kind of look right here and see some of their different options in here that they offer. Excellent vehicles. Very, very well done. Now, I also have videos on every single one of these. So at the end of this video, up in all four corners, there is going to be a thumbnail for the last 30 seconds of this video that will show you these. Okay, this is a video I did on this on the Tacoma. I've got a few of them, but this is one I did on the 2024 Tacoma. I go inside, I go outside, I walk around this entire vehicle everywhere there is. I show you every little nook and cranny in detail on it. Everything there is about it is in this video for you, and then I will link that. Same thing with the 2024 Frontier. I got every little nook and cranny of this thing covered, every inch of it, inside, outside. Every little piece is here and laid out for you to see, and I will link that one. Same thing on the Ridgeline. I just did it on the Ridgeline. It is here too. Every little part of this thing, the amazing tailgate that's on this thing, the trunk in the back, I cover it all for you in these videos. They will be linked at the end of this one for you to click on. So, how do these do? Okay, how do they do? Well, let's pull up our chart and take a look here, because here's the reality of it. Here's how I basically broke it down. So, we have this set up here when it comes to, I got to jump there, horsepower, numbers, and torque. The Tacoma in a non-hybrid version, we're coming in at 278 horsepower, 317 foot-pounds of torque. Now, you do have the hybrid version that's 326, 465, but it is a battery, and it's got a lot of downsides that come with that battery. Zero storage in the back end. The way the battery sticks out more, you cannot even fit your feet back there at all. There's, more weight. It's a consideration, but if you want the hybrid, there's the numbers of that for the hybrid. Here is the non-hybrid version of it right here for you. Frontier coming in at 310, 281, which you can see basically is a wash, the same as this Toyota does. To get the same out of the Frontier, and the Ridgeline just a little bit behind, but not too bad. Now, when it comes to the engine, the Tacoma is a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder turbo connected to an 8-speed transmission. Okay, the Frontier is coming in at a 3.6 or 3.8 naturally aspirated V6 with a 9-speed transmission. Ridgeline is a 3.5 naturally aspirated V6 with a 9-speed engine. So the Frontier and the Ridgeline are naturally aspirated, not overstrung, not high-strung motors. The 2.7 is a 4-cylinder that's kind of pushing pretty hard. Something you have to take into consideration. Ground clearance on these, they are claiming 11 for the Tacoma, 9.8 for the Frontier, and Ridgeline is 7.6. Some of these are going to matter for some of the things below. Off-road angles, the Tacoma, the best Tacoma, the TRD Pro, which is ridiculously high and expensive, but they do offer up to 33.8 approach angle, 25.7 departure. Frontier is coming in at 32.3 approach and 23-degree departure angle. And the Ridgeline is way down on all those numbers at 20.4 and 19.6. So the Ridgeline is obviously not a hardcore off-roader, but that's okay. We're going to see what happens here. And then MPGs. These MPGs are legit. Okay, I actually got these from fuelefficiency.gov or one of the government websites, so where they actually create the actual stickers that go on the window sticker. So I don't want anybody arguing with me or anything like that. I took it right from there. But we have 21 MPGs for the Tacoma and standard. We got 23. Again, if you go with the hybrid model, you're going to be at 23. 19 for the Frontier, and 21 here for the Ridgeline. Okay, works. The frame setup of these vehicles. The Tacoma and the Frontier are both ladder frame style, actual real body on frame, ladder frame type vehicles with true part-time four-wheel drive systems with low range transfer cases and things like that. The Ridgeline is a unibody built like a car with a clutch all-wheel drive system is how that's going to work on it. So completely different. The Tacoma and the Frontier, excuse me, Tacoma and the Frontier, completely different than the setup than the Ridgeline is. Some things benefit, some things don't. Let's dive into it and see. How do they rank? Interior space. Okay, these are what we got in here. Now, I've been in every one of these, and I've drove every one of them. So I'm very familiar. Like I showed you here, I've spent so many times, I have multiple videos on every one of these in different trim levels here, and I'm telling you, I mean, this is what I'm finding. Okay, interior space. First place goes to the Ridgeline. Okay, it's got more room inside. It just does. There's no way to deny it. It's just got more room inside. Second place would be the Frontier. Third place would be the Tacoma. Tacoma's lacking on space, just like the third gen was. These two are pretty close in the front compartment, but like I said, the Ridgeline wins. Off-road capability, the Tacoma wins. The Toyota or the Frontier Pro 4X is a great version and is close to that, but hands down the Tacoma by the numbers and the power and the fact that you get a locking diff and a lot more different trim levels, and you get their amazing MTS and the crawl control and all the stuff that comes with it, and you can get a disconnectable sway bar. You can't beat the Toyota Tacoma of these three for off-road, and the Ridgeline coming in third place for that. Now, don't think for a second that this Ridgeline is a slouch off-road. This thing is going to take you on adventures. It is going to take you to all these places to go do some hiking, to put some motorcycles in the back, pull your boat, go camping, take your razor, go off-road, drive things like that. It's going to do what 99% of people want to do. Okay, you're not going to go through big, deep mud holes, and you're not going to climb up the Rubicon Trail with it or do anything like that, but 99% of people don't want to do that anyway. They want to go explore the woods and go on some trails and go do fun things and adventure and go to waterfalls and go do things, and this truck will do it all day long. All day long. Perfectly, okay? So just keep that in mind. So we go back into here, our list. The on-road capabilities. On-road manners. Ridgeline wins hands down. Ridgeline is the Cadillac of every truck out there. This thing is butter smooth, super comfortable. It is just flawless there on the road. Not many things are going to beat it. Hang on, I turn on my battery pack here. Where's my button for my battery pack? Hang on, because we're going to lose. There we go. There we go. Got it on. But the Ridgeline is just, it wins hands down on the road. It's got road manners that are unbelievable. It is literally like a Cadillac of a street truck here. And second place would be the Tacoma. Third is the Frontier, and the Frontier is there, but the Tacoma's got a little more advancedness to it in the suspension systems and the options for your suspension in there, and some of that kind of thing. The motor's more fun. So on road, the manners, the Tacoma wins, plus the steering is easier. Some people, I love the hydraulic steering in the Frontier. Some people don't like it, but so basically it ranks as for on road, Ridgeline 1, Tacoma second, Frontier third. Now, cost to own over 10 years. This is my assumptions, because there's no way we know, because none of these have been out for 10 years yet. So we don't know the truth till it gets there. Everybody is a prediction on this. Now, my prediction is that first place is going to go to the Frontier, simply because of the fact that it is a naturally aspirated V6, as is the Ridgeline, but the Ridgeline has a timing belt in there. It's going to need more maintenance on a more regular basis, some other things in there, and the fact that this has a solid rear axle in it means less stuff that you're going to have to mess with over time like you will on a Ridgeline. So I think that one's going to win. The Tacoma comes in third on this just because of the fact that it is, again, a turbo four-cylinder motor. It's going to require a lot more. Plus, the Tacoma has so much tech in it that it's going to just, there's no way it's not going to have issues. It's just going to have issues. It's too much tech. So I rank them as far as best there. Here's your ranking. First for the Frontier, second for the Ridgeline, third for the Tacoma. Funnest to drive, the Tacoma wins. Okay, the TRD Sport especially is one super fun road vehicle, and the TRD Off-Road is a super fun off-road vehicle. So it wins. Now, these are the front Pro 4X is a great truck as well too, and so is a Honda. But when it comes for fun, the Tacoma wins. Okay, the Frontier is simple, and a lot of people want simple, so simple is good. But fun factor, Tacoma wins. The Ridgeline, still fun, but it's more comfortable, plush, controlled. Okay, not fun per se. Best do it all, it's going to be the Tacoma as well too, because they offer the trim levels for everything. They do everything very well. They got a really good off-roader. They got the TRD Sport and Limited is really good on-roaders. They're doing everything very well. The Frontier comes in second for that because the SV and the Pro 4X are great versions of the things that you want to do. And third is just simply the downside of the Ridgeline is the best do-it-all is because it does lack in the off-road world, but it takes first place in the on-road. So again, take everything as kind of how you see it or a grain of salt. Best deals to buy. Obviously, the Frontier wins on this thing. You can get $9,000, $10,000 off on a Frontier. Ridgeline's got a few discounts on it too, so they're not too bad, but their prices are lower generally than a Tacoma is. Tacoma has very little deals, they're not very good, and their prices are stupid, crazy, ridiculous high. So that puts them in that order right there. Best chance to last 15 years. First place I put to the Frontier, kind of like we said with cost of ownership, there's going to be less maintenance on a Frontier than a Ridgeline. Both are naturally aspirated, but the Frontier having a solid rear axle and being body on frame. This one having unibody construction, having a clutch all-wheel drive system, having all the seals and all the stuff that's in all the cool stuff in the beds and then the trunk and all that thing that's in there. It's just going to be more maintenance. My opinion is the one that's going to last the best for 15 years will be first for the Frontier, second for the Ridgeline, third is coming in for the Tacoma. People will argue that. My opinion, my honest opinion, 15 years from now, you will probably not see a 2024 Tacoma on the road. I don't think it will make it. I also say the same thing about a 2024 Colorado, 2024 Ford Ranger. I don't believe any of these turbo four-cylinder trucks 15 years from now will be on the road at all. I don't think they're going to be. So it's not a hit to Toyota. I feel that way on all of them. They're great trucks. They're not 15-year trucks. The only two of these that are 15-year trucks, Frontier, Ridgeline, in my opinion, and are ranking in that order. Coolest feature truck. Ridgeline wins hands down. I show that stuff to you in here, but the Ridgeline with its trunk system and its swing out tailgate that it has, and it's probably in here somewhere, and they're going to show you there. It's there, but and I have it in my videos here on this thing too, like right here, this huge trunk in the bed of the truck. The way they tuck the spare tire in on that, like that, the swing out tailgate that swings out and drops down. There's so many cool features. The back seat of this thing, how it gives you the option to have the back seat with a low tray, flip this out and it'd be flat laying, or you can buy a high wall one in here. The Ridgeline wins. They win, straight up win when it comes to the most cool features. In my opinion, they are basically crushing it. So that's my thoughts on there. And then best back seat space, the Ridgeline wins. Seats are huge. Again, I show you that on these in every one of these videos for you to compare. I am going to actually get in the truck and I'm going to show you in here somewhere where I'm going to sit in that truck and show you what it's like, so you will see it in every one, but you're going to have to dive in and find where that is in here. But I show it to you in those videos I'm linking at the end. And back seat wise, the Ridgeline straight up crushes everything else. Next is a Frontier. Tacoma comes in third. It just is what it is. Backseat storage. Ridgeline wins again with that system they have. Frontier comes in second. Toyota a very distant third. And if you buy the hybrid version of the Tacoma, you have zero. Absolutely zero backseat storage whatsoever. Reliability ranking. I'm putting this Frontier first because of what we found on this section here and on this section here. So that way it comes in first, Ridgeline comes in second, and the Tacoma comes in third. So how does that score these all overall? Well, here we go. Here's how it comes in. Based on the number of firsts and thirds that we have on here, you can see by the yellow and red colors here, Ridgeline wins. Ridgeline beats it. Ridgeline is according to these specs here, this criteria of things right here, the Ridgeline becomes the best choice. Okay, the second best choice becomes a Frontier. Third best choice becomes a Tacoma. Your list may change. The purpose of this was to help you figure out what's the best vehicle for you if you are looking for a Japanese type truck here in the United States. Okay, so things to consider, things to think about. I want your opinions. Put them down below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.